What is SME? For the manufacturing sector, SMEs are defined as firms with sales turnover not exceeding Rm 50 million or number of full-time employees not exceeding 200. For the services and other sectors, SMEs are defined as firms with sales turnover not exceeding Rm 20 million or number of full-time employees not exceeding 75.
Characteristics of SME. The first one is ownership. SME is privately owned by individual or partners and typically registered as sole proprietorship, partnership or private limited company. The second one is management. The business is managed and operated by the owner. The entrepreneur or founder of the business leads the company and acts as both manager and worker. The development of the business is determined by the owner and decision making is mostly done by the owner. The third one is organizational structure. For a small business, the structure is often flat and informal. The owner has to do almost everything and the workers are normally expected to be able to function as generalists since there is no clear demarcation of tasks. Number 4 is resources. A small business often has limited resources. This is especially true for new startups due to a lack of track record on the business to convince potential investors and bankers. Therefore, it is highly dependent on the ability of the owner to generate resources. Number 5 is flexibility of change. The business has more flexibility to adapt to changes in the environment due to its size and informal structure. It is also vulnerable to develop in the business environment. For instance, any changes in technology or government policy might have a great impact on the business because immediate change normally require additional capital or resources. Number 6 is location. An SME can often start out running from the home of the business owner. This is possible because often the business will be entirely run by the owner and won't have any other employees. It saves the owner on the cost of premises and has the benefits of working from home. As the business grows, they may operate from an office. This might be a case of owning a desk or small section of an office rather than paying for a larger space that they will not need. Number 7 is number of employees. SME requires a smaller number of people as compared to large corporations due to their small scale of operations. Number 8 is investment. SME has limited investment as the capital requirement of an SME is less as it operates on a small scale. The last characteristics of SME is production cost. SME have low overheads including fixed and operating costs. This will lower the cost of production and per unit cost. This in turn lowers the cost of production and per unit cost.
Roles of small-medium enterprise in Malaysia: employment generation, economic growth, diversification, export and international trade, innovation and entrepreneurship, regional development, social development. Employment generation: SME are the largest employers in Malaysia, providing job opportunities, absorb surplus labor, reduce unemployment rates, and contribute to poverty reduction. Economic growth: SME contribute to the country's gross domestic product. Agility and flexibility enable SME to respond quickly to market demands and emerging trends. Diversification: SME contribute to economic diversification, operating in various sectors. It reduces the country's dependence on a single industry, making the economy more resilient to external shocks. Export and international trade contribute to the country's trade balance by exporting goods and services. SME engage in international trade and participate in global value chains. Innovation and entrepreneurship: foster creativity, develop new products and services, introduce disruptive business models, contribute to technological advancement, and promote a culture of entrepreneurship in Malaysia. Social development: supporting local communities, providing goods and services tailored to local needs, and promoting inclusive growth. Engage in corporate social responsibility activities and support social causes. Regional development: present in both urban and rural areas, contributing to regional development and reducing regional disparities. Create economic activities in remote regions, enhance infrastructure development, and improve the standard of living for local communities.
What are the problems faced by small businesses? There are 3 challenges faced by SMEs company in securing bank credit, and the first one is having poor credit history, second, business is too young, and third, lack of collateral. When making lending decisions, lenders often consider the credit lines and payment history in personal and company credit reports, and it is typically based on the company or business payment habits for the last 12 to 18 months. For companies that have a long history of not paying back loan on time, they might have difficulty in persuading banks for a bank credit since they lack a history of making punctual payments. When companies fail to obtain from a formal source, they would turn to informal sources such as money lenders, or commonly known as ahlong in Malaysia. They would have to pay a high rate of interest, which causes them to have less liquidity in the business. This is because they need to pay back the loan borrowed from the money lenders. Borrowing from a money lender is also dangerous because money lenders tend to harass an individual for failure of paying back loan on time. To overcome this, a company needs to develop an accurate cash flow record and ensure to pay back loan on time.
The second reason is small and mid-sized enterprises are very young. Business have to be at least 2 years old to be eligible for loans from banks. This is because a firm must demonstrate to the bank that it can be profitable and sustain itself for some time. Secondly, a company needs to have a track record that can attest to its profitability and lack of investment risk. This makes it challenging for new business that needed funds to acquire funding from the bank. Then they might find another option to launch their firm. Next, in the event of a funding default, the starting business frequently lacks collateral to receive loan. The borrower must offer collateral while seeking a loan from a bank to increase the bank's willingness to extend credit. What is worrying is that the new company frequently have to use their personal property as collateral since they lack the necessary business infrastructure, which puts the owner in danger. As an illustration, Hassan was prepared to use his property as collateral for a bank loan to support the opening of a small business. However, his wife disagreed with his choice because she feared that if the company failed, the bank will take over Hassan's property. One of the biggest causes of young business being rejected by bank is this. A young business is unlikely to have the equipment or commercial real estate as collateral for the loan.
Lack of income.
Bank considers more than just a company's credit history when determining loan eligibility. The income of a firm also has a significant impact on whether or not bank loans are accepted. Banks place a high value on a company's income since it demonstrates its ability to service its loan. If SMEs do not have a consistent source of revenue to support the business expenses, SMEs financing application is likely to be refused since the bank will not be convinced that they can repay loans. Many banks prefer to direct their resources towards large corporations rather than SMEs. The reason for this is that large enterprises have a lower risk of default and clear financial statements. However, SMEs are riskier, especially from the perspective of lenders, because they lack of clear accounting information about their company. Because the monthly growth in comparison to the debt, it will demonstrate to the bank that the company can consistently generate enough revenue to repay the debts.
In conclusion, SME companies are small or medium-sized companies that create many economic opportunities to the people.